That's my best friend.
Hello and welcome back to another video. Before I begin, subscribe. The goal is 3,000 because I need numbers to validate myself apparently. In today's video, we will be looking at Smosh. First a website created in 2002 where animations were made. Then Anthony and Ian came together and created a love child. No, not that sort of love child. I'm talking about the channel Smosh that we all know now. I'm not going to go into the history of Smosh because according to Wikipedia, it's hella long and I don't have the brain space for that. And when I refer to Smosh, I'm talking about the 3 channels of Smosh Games, Smosh Pit and Smosh. So all those nitpickers, keep your annoyance to yourself.
Everybody just calm down.
Before I talk about the dark side of Smosh, I have to say a few things. This is all alleged, supposed, in my opinion. Now that we've got all the legal lingo out the way, as I'm trying to swerve being sued, let's get into it. But first we must set the scene. So I think we all know about the Defy Media scandal, where a multi-channel network came crashing down, leaving channels like Smosh, Clever, and many others spiraling out of control. However, Smosh didn't. 6 months ago, they made the video that they were no longer with Defy Media, but they didn't stop uploading like Clever TV, even though they also didn't have a crew. Instead, they kept pumping out videos on all their channels, and yes, I know they were pre-filmed. And no, this is not the conspiracy part, it's what happens after when a certain cast member exposes their treatment at the workplace.
Jesus Christ.
Remember Boze, fun-loving Boze? Well, she quit, even though she was a crucial member, I think. I should probably confess that I don't watch Smosh, but still feel qualified enough to make this video, just as qualified as any other bloody YouTuber out there promoting health products and online therapy. Wow, really delving into the pot of scandals on YouTube. You're probably thinking, wow, she left, big deal. But what if I told you that the members of Smosh weren't that nice to her? Again, allegedly. I think we all picture that workplace as being colourful and people constantly gaming and laughing. Sadly for Boze, that wasn't the reality. So I found out about how Boze was kind of isolated and dismissed by the others, from when Boze went on Just Kidding News and David So's podcast Genius Brain, which was very real about her experience there. It was no longer Boze put on a character and be gimmicky and be entertaining for 10 minutes in these videos, it was her being real. And her response to why she left was kind of shocking. When I think of working at a big media company like Smosh or BuzzFeed, it sounds like it'd be chill and like a place you could have dozens of friends. But sadly, that wasn't the case for Boze. She made it very clear that if it weren't for Defy Media shutting down, she would have stayed until her contract ended, since she wanted to fill up her resume, not because she liked the company or the people. So when it all shut down, she was set free. Be my friend! Be my friend! At the core of it, she decided to leave because she realised that the entertainment business wasn't for her, and she realised that she probably wouldn't be number one. She was very adult about it. She noted how she'd rather give her space to someone who'd lived their whole life to be where she was, so it just didn't seem worth it for her to stay in a position where she couldn't control her success. So she decided to go into marketing. One of her bosses from Smosh was supposed to help her, but didn't. Is that tea? Because I'm not too sure anymore because I keep getting called out for using the wrong bloody words. Thank you, internet. She spoke about how when she joined Smosh Games, she was the awkward one and didn't do the normal social things, and she felt like people held that against her.
I feel like I was never forgiven for some of the socially awkward, ness that I had. And, even looking back, I'm like, ooh, that was kind of cringy or that was that. But, I never wronged anyone. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would just do embarrassing stuff, or I was unprofessional or would speak at the wrong time, or
You were unprofessional at a place called Smosh?
Yeah. It's all business, dog. It's all business.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
I would never think that.
After, let's see, the company had a falling out in November. I've a person there that I'm actually pretty good friends with. But other than that, I've gotten 2 text messages from them. I got a happy birthday from one person, and I got another, hey, just wanted to let you know this is what's going on with Smosh. I hope you're doing well.
Even from this clip, it's strange to see how Smosh really didn't care for her, even though she created videos that probably did amazingly. From what I've seen of her, she's funny and she grabbed your attention. I also see the other side. Oh, she left, why should the others have to keep up with her? But I don't know, human decency? Maybe check how she's doing? Even if you're not that close, I imagine that these guys would have spent hours filming and refilming. So wouldn't you gain some sort of a bond?
It kind of sucked to, to go into a place every day and not feel that warmth when you had to put that warmth on camera.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sucked to come in on a Monday and hear about some event or some party or some house party or just something that was going on that you didn't know about because you weren't invited.
And then she spoke about how she'd go into this cold environment where she had to pretend to be happy and friendly on camera. And she'd come into work and hear about how everyone had gathered together and would exclude her from meetups and would just discuss what they got up to. This feels like high school. The whole "you're not popular enough to hang out with us. We just don't like you." And I get that we click with some people and we don't click with others. But just like have some decency to not discuss what you got up to in front of someone who you didn't invite. And I get why Boze would then isolate herself from the rest of them because of how she was treated. It just seems hella childish. It does go to show that high school social expectations don't end and they follow you into the workplace. And I'd have to give it up to her. She was good and seemed fine in her videos. She seemed happy to be there and that she liked everyone. But it goes to show what happens in front of the camera isn't the same behind the scenes. The next part of the conversation moves on to how Boze felt like Smosh was a business. It wasn't about letting your emotions out or wanting friendships. And really to that, I'm not surprised. When a YouTube channel first starts out, it's about being creative and authentic. But like many channels, they get big and become big companies. And you lose that human, emotional part of the channel, which is probably one of the reasons why Anthony left. It's kind of sad that they got away with making Boze feel like she was wrong and not welcomed. And they're still doing fine. They still perceive themselves as being this positive channel. And people don't realise the dark side of them, which is the ruthless business side. This isn't me saying that the world is unicorns and candy floss, even though I'd love a candy floss at the office. I'm just saying that your employees shouldn't feel like they're just one part of the mechanism, especially if it's a YouTube channel where it's supposed to be about the people, not the numbers, and what you can gain from someone. But then again, that's a utopian view of YouTube and it just isn't like that anymore.
It was all business and I'm like a puppy dog. Like
Yeah.
I wanted more. Like I wanted friendship. You know, if there was some kind of issue or conflict, I would put my heart out on the table and it was just very cold. And I learned you don't do that in business. You can't be real with people. This is not a friendship. This is a business.
There is also the fact that there was a community feeling for the people that were in the circle. Boze just wasn't a part of it. And maybe that was a sign that Smosh just wasn't for her. Or maybe it was purposeful where they wanted to make her feel like an outsider. Boze and David spoke about how race may have had a part in it, but that was in a joking manner. So I'm not going to go into that just because it's a tricky situation to discuss. And there wasn't anything definitive that came out from that part. And I also don't want to get cancelled right now. Boze even spoke about how when she was there with Anthony, she noticed something strange about him.
I didn't know it was when I first joined that he was about to leave. And like, I didn't really know him that well, but that dude was like always in his head. So like, I should have known some shit was about to go down. Like we'd be on a shoot and he would just be sitting there. And they'd be like, Anthony.
Oh, shit.
Like it was, yeah, there was a lot going on there.
From this, I guess that Smosh is just draining. And it must be. You have to come up with these ideas, film them and produce them and hope that they do well. And if not, you have to tell your higher ups why it flopped. You come up with ideas that would gather millions of views, but you still are paid what your contract entails. So the dark side of Smosh isn't just the high school pettiness, it's the draining of your emotions apparently. However, this isn't a takedown piece on Smosh because in the grander scheme of things, Smosh doesn't matter. It's what it represents that does. Here we have a massive YouTube channel that has had few turmoils from Anthony leaving to Defy Media shutting down. But through it all they survived, and even as a big channel they're still gaining subs, which is surprising since many of these older channels are slowly dying. This video is more so about the culture of Smosh and how as the audience you don't realise the background negotiations and the climate of relationships. And maybe that's okay. We don't need to know everything. As long as we get smiling faces in front of the camera, it's all fine, right? But that doesn't sit well with me. There's always been a reason for why I don't really watch channels that are groups, mostly because it's all an act and we all exaggerate ourselves and try and be like entertainers. However, there are a few channels that have more than one person in front of the camera and they seem very real and they actually like each other, like some of the ones I've mentioned, such as JK News. So this isn't a boycott Smosh because I never cared to watch Smosh, but I think it was an important story to talk about, since I haven't seen any videos talking about this situation. And of course, one person who is treated badly doesn't mean the whole company is terrible. So like, don't sue me, Smosh. I've tried my best not to sound like this perfect person in this video who has all the facts and knowledge, but I think we can all agree that being nice to each other is a decent thing to do. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the video here. Please like and subscribe. The goal is 3,000, remember. Go check out the Genius Brain podcast by David So. But if he claims this video, don't go check him out. And let me know in the comment section what you think of the situation. Do you think Smosh was being deep? Or do you think Boze was overreacting? I'm going to put my Twitter and Instagram up here. And yeah, have a great day.
We gotta like start ignoring her like Smosh now.